Om Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Always the incarnation comes with his own special team in order to give effective guidance to the spiritual seekers, to those who really aspiring for the realization of God. The incarnation and his team always guide with practical instructions how to reach God. Though ordinarily we are all bound by karma, we have taken up this birth pushed by the resultant force of our own actions done previously. So the doctrine of karma is strongly operating. Nobody can escape that law. Whoever has done good will enjoy the benefit of goodness. Whoever has done bad will suffer the consequences. Well, Sri Ramakrishna has explained in the Gospel, the whole creation is just a game. That means it's a game, nothing more than that. So if we understand that, it makes more easy for us to undertake spiritual journey more concentratedly. Well, we will have to learn lessons through the sufferings, through the experiences in our life, and we have to take the right course. But the case of incarnation and his special team is different. They are born into this world not because of any resultant force of action, but they have come onto this world on their own sweet will, out of their infinite compassion, love towards the creation. So today's topic I am speaking on characteristics of the ever free. So we will have to definitely look with great respect and reverence, with great love, devotion and dedication when we study the life and teachings of these men of God. Sri Ramakrishna said to a devotee, in this creation of God, there is a variety of things, men, animals, trees, plants, and so many other things. Among the animals, some are good, some are bad. There are ferocious animals like the tiger. Some trees bear fruit sweet as nectar, and others bear fruit that is poisonous. Likewise, among human beings, there are the good, there are the wicked, there are the holy, and there are the unholy. There are some who are devoted to God and others who are attached to the world. How nicely Sri Ramakrishna has clarified many things, making spirituality easy for us. Further he tells in the Gospel, men may be divided into 4 classes. Those bound by the fetters of the world. Second, the seekers after liberation. Third, the liberated. And the last, the ever free, on which topic I am speaking today. Among the ever free, we may count sages like Narada Maharshi. They live in the world for the good of others, to teach men spiritual truth. Those in bondage, they are sunk in worldliness and they totally are forgetful of God. Not even by mistake do they think of God. The seekers after liberation, they want to free themselves from attachment to the world. Some of them succeed and others do not. The liberated souls, such as the Mahatmas, Sadhus, they are not entangled in the world. They are not entangled in the pursuit of lust and gold. Their minds are free from worldliness. Besides, they always meditate on the lotus feet of God. Suppose a net has been cast into a lake to catch fish. Some fish are so clever that they are never caught in the net. They are like the ever free. But most of the fish are entangled in the net. Some of them try to free themselves from it, and they are like those who seek liberation. But not all the fish that struggle succeed. A very few do jump out of the net, making a big splash in the water. Then the fishermen shout, "Look, there goes a big one." But most of the fish caught in the net cannot escape, nor do they make any effort to get out. On the contrary, they burrow into the mud with the net in their mouths and lie there quietly, thinking, we need not fear any more. We are quite safe here. But the poor things do not know that the fishermen will drag them out with the net. These are like the men bound to the world. The bound souls are tied to the world by the fetters of lust and gold. They are bound hand and foot, thinking that lust and gold will make them happy and give them security. They do not realize that it will lead them to annihilation. When a man thus bound to the world is about to die, his wife asks, "You are about to go, but what have you done for me?" Again, such is his attachment to the things of the world that when he sees the lamp burning brightly, he says, "Dim the light. Too much oil is being used." And he is on the deathbed. The bound souls never think of God. If they get any leisure, what do? They indulge in idle gossip, chatting, and foolish talk, or they engage in fruitless work. If you ask one of them the reason, He answers, "Oh, I can't keep still, so I am making a hedge." When time hangs heavy on their hands, they perhaps start playing cards. I have seen, while traveling in flight, people do play cards in the plane. Sri Ramakrishna said, "You all see this boy," referring to Narendranath. "He behaves that way here. A naughty boy, seems very gentle, but he is quite another person when he plays in the Chandani." Narendra and people of his type belong to the class of the ever free. They are never entangled in the world. When they grow a little older, they feel the awakening of inner consciousness and go directly towards God. Then why do they come? What's the purpose of their coming on to this earth? They come to the world only to teach others. They never care for anything of the world. They are never attached to lust and gold. The Vedas speak of the Homa bird. It lives high up in the sky, and there it lays its egg. As soon as the egg is laid, it begins to fall. But it's so high up that it continues to fall for many days. As it falls, it hatches and the chick falls. As the chick falls, its eyes open, it grows wing. As soon as its eyes open, it realizes that it is falling and will be dashed to pieces on touching the earth. Then it at once shoots up toward the mother bird high in the sky. How nicely Sri Ramakrishna has given the picture of the people in the world. So, it is very necessary for us to know all these things, to make our spiritual aspiration strong, to take spiritual life more seriously, and to struggle effectively. Beginning and end, birth and death, etc., they are pairs of inevitable phases of any existence in the world. This is law that governs the life of a human being also. As a result, our life on earth has a beginning. But why? Why should it have a beginning at all? To have a beginning, the scriptures say, there must be either a benevolent will or compulsion. If it is the outcome of a benevolent will, then there is a possibility of a willful withdrawal of the same. And if it is under compulsion, then there is no other way out except following the laws of the compulsion. This seems logical so far as our wide variety of worldly experiences is concerned. In other words, a freedom presupposes a bondage, and getting rid of the bondage is attaining freedom. What delightful flights a pigeon takes when released from bondage, attaining heights and boundlessness, breaking the confines of its cage, bringing happiness to those who release it, and life to itself. Could we humans, who have not been favored with wings, take to such heights of freedom while living a life very much down to earth? What heights has one to climb to be totally free? The word height is a relative term. It's conditioned by the laws on earth. Swami Vivekananda questioned this logic, saying, how can that be free, which is bound by laws? What height has the earth, our mother earth itself, attained? There is no answer. The earth's height is related to the neighboring planets, stars, etc. in the galaxy. There is no proof so far as to what's the ground for a height in the cosmos. With reference to the cosmos, we have to speak about physical distances instead of heights. But height or distance, whatever it be, the idea of going away from something does not mean freedom. Rather, it means a sweet, dreamy delusion of freedom, which is absurd. Freedom is possible without the common idea of height or distance. The definition of freedom includes, it's a feeling and not an intellectual understanding or a physical separateness. A universal dissatisfaction. It is not dissatisfaction about the bondage of a part, but about the bondage of the whole. Swami Vivekananda again says, I don't want my freedom so long as even one person remains in bondage. This is a universal dissatisfaction, not an ordinary one. When one is a part of anything, one cannot be fully satisfied or fully dissatisfied about the thing. He or she has to stand apart and place the whole thing before him or her to be completely satisfied or dissatisfied about it. Freedom should be the inherent nature of our soul. Otherwise, freedom has no significance. It is the apparent man who is in bondage. The real man has no bondage, and so he is free, ever free. The test of real freedom is that it won't hurt others, it won't allow one to be held by others. Not only that, it also means that one shouldn't have the childish right to lean on others. A compulsion, therefore, has two aspects. One is subjective and the other objective. Isn't the compulsion dependent on one's own choice, preferring one aspect to the other? The question is, do we really want to be free? To be in real freedom, even while one is living the world, one should have such a birth that is beyond these limited laws of a benevolent will or of a compulsion. This birth is called avirbhava in Sanskrit, appearance or advent. There are cases of such births of embodied beings which do not come under these two normal kinds of birth. Such beings are called born free. They are ever free. They are cases of people who are very much in the world but not of the world. It was on the 12th January in the year 1863 that a robust infant was born to his human parents, Srimati Bhuvaneshwari Devi and Shri Vishwanath Datta of Simla, Kolkata. The child was named Vireshwar and later Narendranath, afterwards sweetly shortened by Sri Ramakrishna into Naren. The world knows him as Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda. He was born free. Before Naren's birth, Sri Ramakrishna saw in a vision a streak of light flash across the sky from Varanasi to Calcutta. Was it the consequence of Naren's mother Bhuvaneshwari Devi having prayed to Lord Vireshwara in Varanasi for a son? However, Sri Ramakrishna did not indicate at what spot the light had descended, but exclaimed in great joy, "My prayer has been granted and my companion must come to me one day." Sri Ramakrishna was supremely happy that his main person of the team would be coming, has already come. Years later, sometime in the month of December 1881, when young Naren visited Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar, the master at once recognized him to be that companion of his. Yet to be sure about this assumption, Sri Ramakrishna touched Naren. Immediately Naren went into a trance, losing outer consciousness. When Naren was in that state, Sri Ramakrishna then asked him several questions and came to know that his identification was right. This Narayan did not come to the world under the compulsion of his past karma of whatsoever nature. He did not even belong to the class of free souls who have a mission of their own benevolent will to fulfill and continue in the corporeal state as long as the mission demands it. There is a sutra in Brahma Sutra, Yavat adhikaram avasthitihi adhikarikanam, which meaning is perfected souls may be reborn for the fulfillment of some divine mission. Yavat adhikaram. So long as the mission is not fulfilled, avasthitihi, there is corporeal existence. Adhikarikanam, of those who have a mission to fulfill. Of those who have a mission to fulfill, there is a corporeal existence, so long as the mission is not fulfilled. Rishi Apantaratma was born again as Vyasa. Sanat Kumar was born as Skanda. So also other rishis, Vasishtha and Narad, were born again. Now these rishis had attained the knowledge of Brahman, and yet they had to be reborn. If that is so, what's the utility of such knowledge of Brahman? One may ask that question. This sutra refutes it and says that ordinarily a person after attaining knowledge is not reborn. But the case of those who have a divine mission to fulfill is different. Those perfected sages have one or more births until their mission is fulfilled, after which they are not born again. But then they never come under the sway of ignorance, although they may be reborn. Their case is analogous to that of a Jivan Mukta, when even after attaining knowledge continues his corporeal existence as long as the prarabdha karma lasts. The divine mission of these people is comparable to the prarabdha karma. Narayan came down to this earth at the entreaty of a divine child to help the child in his earthly mission. The divine child, of course, was Sri Ramakrishna. In the Bhagavatam, we come across a similar incident. Before Sri Krishna was born as the baby of Devaki and Vasudeva in the prison of Kamsa, Lord Vishnu requested Mahamaya to be born as the daughter of Yashoda and Nanda to help him in his mission on the earth. Who can ignore a divine call? For such persons, what could their philosophy of life be? We wonder. They have no life to be scrupulously worked out for their own salvation. They are ever free. It is therefore incumbent on them to find out a meaning in their life that Swami Vivekananda fulfilled wonderfully. The meaning of his life was to guide others and help them discover the meaning of their lives. From his childhood, Swami Vivekananda was a leader, destined to guide all. Once Swamiji said, "My ideal can indeed be put into a few words, and that is to preach unto mankind their divinity and how to make it manifest in every moment of life." That's why Swami Vivekananda could easily record the voice of the whole of the human race in a condensed philosophy of a single life. He said, "If I am grateful to my white-skinned Aryan ancestors, I am far more so to my yellow-skinned Mongolian ancestors, and most of all to the black-skinned people." As a result, Swami Vivekananda imbibed in his majestic frame the consummation of all human energy, while himself remaining a free witness to the march of humanity towards the elixir of life. In his book, The Life of Vivekananda and the Universal Gospel, Roma Rolla writes, in the two words, equilibrium and synthesis, Vivekananda's constructive genius may be summed up. He was a personification of the harmony of all human energy. Even in his times, way back at the beginning of the last century, Swami Vivekananda addressed problems with a global insight. The Vedantic truth of one atom, dragging the whole universe behind it, formed the basis of his vision. His freedom kindled in him the idea of Sarva Mukti, freedom for the whole. In his early days, asked by Sri Ramakrishna how Naren would like to spend his life, Naren replied that he would spend his time in deep meditation. Sri Ramakrishna reprimanded him, saying, "Good heavens, you wish your own liberation? I thought you would be like a huge banyan tree under whose shade many people will assuage their pains. Instead, you want your own liberation." Narendra was quick to grasp the implication of Sri Ramakrishna's point. That is why, in the international forum, where he got the first chance to address the whole of the world, Swami Vivekananda inspired all with these words: "If there is ever to be a universal religion, it must be one which will have no location in place or time, which will be infinite like the God it preaches, which sun will shine upon the followers of Krishna and of Christ, on saints and sinners alike." This is a formula which addresses all problems globally. For the problems belong to the one globe. Does not a cancer in one finger pose a threat to the whole body? Realizing the whole creation to be one, an Upanishadic sage cried out, "O all ye, the children of immortality, do hear. I have realized the transcendental truth, knowing which one becomes deathless. The self of the free never remains in bondage. Hence it does not undergo any improvement, neither does it require progress. It finds no barrier in its manifestation, because such a life has universal application, and it transcends all limitations to attain universality. The ever-free does not work under compulsion." Another Upanishadic sage discovered with eloquent wonder, "I am the unifier. I am the unifier. Aham slokakrit. Aham slokakrit." There's a verse like this. So, there's a call for empathy for all. The Vedic dictums like, "Do not injure the created beings. Ma himsyat sarva bhutani," have transcultural application. They are not the property of any particular group of individuals. Swamiji always encouraged everyone to move towards the infinite whole, which is beyond all trifles. He says, the more a man advances towards oneness, the more ideas of I and you are subside. The fateful luxury of the constant use or misuse of I should be replaced with a we, if we want to preserve the dignity of this I. Then one becomes free at once. It infuses a universal idea of duty itself. When life itself is taken and studied in a global perspective, all the ideas about duty become spiritualized, and they betoken a universality. It becomes a it becomes a goal of life. What's the goal of life? Somebody asked. Well, in today's context, the goal of life is to achieve a goal. Doesn't it seem crazy? Maybe. Let us examine our acts of fixing goals. It is true that we fix goals in life, but it is also true that we don't have a single goal, but many goals. Our today's goal is replaced by tomorrow's as a consequence of our lukewarm approach to the goals. Thus, in a frenzy of conducting sample surveys, we go on changing goals without ever attaining any of them. Goals are not worthy of the name if they are never reached. On the other hand, if we take time, cogitate over our possibilities and abilities, and then fix a goal, an ultimate goal to which all other subsidiary goals lead, and then channel all our energies to achieving it, it would be an act of wisdom. The ultimate goal should be free from all parochial expectations, even if that breaks many a cherished dream that holds us in thrall. What we do not make free will not grow. A growth is always towards universality. Since an ever-free person remains free from all selfishness, his heart broadens and becomes as sensitive to the sufferings of the bound. One night, at about 2 a.m., the time when a devastating earthquake killed thousands of people in the faraway Fiji Islands, Swami Vivekananda, who was at Belur Math at that time, felt a terrible shock in his heart. Later on he said to Swami Turiyananda, one of his brother disciples, one of the brother disciples of Vivekananda, he said to him, with great feeling he said to Turiyanandaji, Hari Bhai, I am still unable to understand anything of your so-called religion. But my heart has expanded very much and I have begun to feel, believe me, I feel intensely indeed. It is for this reason only Vivekananda could legitimately take a divine pledge saying, it may be that I shall find it good to get outside of my body, to cast it off like a disgust, to cast it off like a disused garment, but I shall not cease to work. I shall inspire men and women, all the beings everywhere, until the world shall know that it is one with God. So, Sri Ramakrishna and his special team have such tremendous message for the humanity. People are talking about integration of faith, integration of beliefs and so on. If they really study Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda in depth, it would make them easy to practice integration in all respects, to show respect and reverence to the whole humanity, to love everyone in this creation. That's the way, and that way has been shown by Sri Ramakrishna and his best team of 16 disciples, whom Sri Ramakrishna trained in every respect to become blazing light, to show the path to the whole mankind. Page 772, Master said smilingly, one day I remarked that the chatak bird doesn't drink any water except that which falls from the sky. Narendra said, the chatak drinks ordinary water as well. Then I said to the Divine Mother, Mother, then are my words untrue? I was greatly worried about it. Another day, later on, Narendra was here. Several birds were flying about in the room. He exclaimed, there. What's there? I asked. He said, there is your chatak. I found they were only bats. Since that day, I don't accept what Narendra says. Allah. At Jadu Malik's garden house, Narendra said to me, the forms of God that you see are the fiction of your mind. I was amazed and said to him, but they speak too. Narendra answered, yes, one may think so. I went to the temple and wept before the mother. Oh mother, I said, what is this? Then is this all false? How could Narendra say that? Instantly I had a revelation. I saw consciousness, indivisible consciousness, and a divine revelation, and a divine being formed of that consciousness. The divine form said to me, if your words are untrue, how is it that they tally with the facts? Thereupon I said to Narendra, you rogue, you created unbelief in my mind, don't come here anymore. The discussion continued. Narendra was arguing. He was then slightly over 22 years of age. Narendra said to Girish M. and others, how am I to believe in the words of scripture? The Mahanirvana Tantra says in one place that unless a man attains the knowledge of Brahman, he goes to hell. And the same book says in another place that there is no salvation without the worship of Parvati, the Divine Mother. Manu writes about himself in the Manusmriti. Moses describes his own death in the Pentateuch. The Sankhya philosophy says that God does not exist because there is no proof of his existence. Again, the same philosophy says that one must accept the Vedas and that they are eternal. But I don't say that these are not true. I simply don't understand them. Please explain them to me. People have explained the scriptures according to their fancy. Which explanation shall we accept? White light coming through a red medium appears red, through a green medium green. A devotee said, the Gita contains the words of God. Master said, yes, the Gita is the essence of all scriptures. A sannyasi may or may not keep with him another book, but he always carries a pocket Gita. A devotee said, the Gita contains the words of Krishna. Narendra said, yes, Krishna or any fellow for that matter. Sri Ramakrishna was amazed at these words of Narendra. Master said, that's a fine discussion. There are two interpretations of the scriptures, the literal and the real. One should accept the real meaning alone, what agrees with the words of God. There is a vast difference between the words written in a letter and the direct words of its writer. The scriptures are like the words of the letter. The words of God are direct words. I don't accept anything unless it agrees with the direct words of the Divine Mother. The conversation again turned into divine incarnation. Narendra said, it's enough to have faith in God. I don't care about what He is doing or what He hangs from. Infinite is the universe, infinite are the incarnations. As Sri Ramakrishna heard the words, infinite is the universe, infinite are the incarnations, he said with folded hands, Yam whispered something to Bhavanath. Bhavanath said, Yam says, as long as I have not seen the elephant, how can I know whether it can pass through the eyes of a needle? I do not know God. How can I understand through reason whether or not He can incarnate Himself as a man? Master said, everything is possible for God. It is He who casts the spell. The magician swallows the knife and takes it out again. He swallows the stones and bricks. A devotee said, the Brahmins say that a man should perform his worldly duties. He must not renounce them. Girish said, yes, I saw something like that in their paper, the Sulabha Samachar. But a man cannot even finish all the works that are necessary for him in order to know God. And still he speaks of worldly duties. Sri Ramakrishna smiled a little, looked at him and made a sign with his eye as if to say, what he says is right. Yam understood that this question of performing duties was an extremely difficult one. Purna arrived. Master said, who told you about our being here? Purna said, Sharda. Master said to the women devotees, give him some refreshments. Narendra was preparing to sing. The master and the devotees were eager to hear his music. Narendra sang, Shiva, thy ruddy thunderbolt rules over meadows, hills and sky. O God of gods, O slayer of time, thou the great void, the king of dharma. Shiva, thou blessed one, redeem me, take away my grievous sin. He sang again, sweet is thy name, O refuge of the humble. It falls like sweetest nectar on our ears and comforts us, beloved of our souls. Again he sang, why, O mind, do you never call on him who takes away all fear of danger? Tricked by delusion, you forget yourself, enamored of the world's bleak wilderness. Alas, what a mockery is here. Comrades and wealth you cannot always keep. Take care lest you forget him quiet. Give up the false, O mind, adore the real, and all the grief will vanish from your life. Keep my good counsel in your heart. With sounding voice proclaim Lord Hari's name, and cast away your false desires. If you would cross the ocean of this life, surrender to him body, mind and soul, and worship him with trusting love. We shall stop here. Chant the name of the Lord and his glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For, he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.